go to my linking parameters, oops, my depth cuts, and just turn that off. And that should take one finish pass. And then we'll do the same for this one. Turn my depth cuts off. And then under my cut parameters, take away the stock allowance. And then we can see down there the one finish pass that was created at the bottom of both of those. So there we go. That's the programming for Op2, facing, cutting the outside, and cutting the slot. Anyone have any questions on that? Is anyone still there? Everyone's muted. Don't want to be on the video, huh? Say something, Tommy. You can be in the video.
Oh, you don't want me in there.
You're in there now. Good job. Okay, so now to the contouring. Let me just turn everything off. So to go ahead and cut our engraving that we put on our part. So my Pikachu, this dragon thing, and the Mewtwo. What's the name of the dragon? Someone's got to know. Anyone? What was it, Doug?
Charizard.
Charizard. Was it a Charizard?
No.
Mike, you're a loser.
Called Gyarados.
Charizard is a little dinosaur-looking guy with a flame on his tail.
I only know.
And the evolved version of him is the big dragon.
I
Charizard.
only know Pikachu, Cubone, and Mewtwo because they were in the movie.
Oh.
So anyway, all right. To create an engraving program. So what I find works the best for engraving is not the Mastercam engraving program. I don't like the way it works at all. Gyarados, that's the name of the dragon. Good job, Doug.
Oh, cool.
What works best for engraving is the regular contour program with the parameters changed a little. So we're going to do it that way. So contour, when we select our chain, we're going to grab a window. And I'm going to highlight everything inside of my program. Oops, asking for a start point, and I missed some. Alright, so I've got everything selected, but I selected some of my holes in the back, and I don't want those. So I'm gonna change this up. And I'm going to use my levels to turn off the things I don't want to see. And I don't need these holes. We'll just put them on that other level. So change level, we'll send them to level 1, which is turned off. There, so now I'm only seeing my engraving. This will make it much better. I thought I had there. We'll just do this. The that horn dog, that is because the character looked like a dog with horns. Now that this is going online, so that if anyone sees that, that is not a bad statement. That is a dog with horns, and I didn't know the Pokemon name. So I'm going to add my do or do not, there is no try, into this picture by changing the level. So I'm going to highlight it, right click, change level to level 6. Now, when I turn this level off, that'll be in my drawing. So back to our toolpaths. We're going to create our contour program. I'm going to use the window function to draw a window over all of it. And then nothing happens because it's asking me for a start point. You can pick anything you want as your start point. I'll just pick the D. And then you see everything turns yellow. So there's 212 chains. good. My tool that I'm going to use, select tool from library, I'm going to use a 1/16 ball cutter. I find works the best for engraving. So we'll grab our ball, tool 302. It is going to come in as tool number 2, even though I use tool number 2 up above. I'm going to go ahead and just change it to tool 7, because I use 6 tools up above in my Op1 programming. 5,500 RPM at 10 inches a minute.
You've got that listed at 5,500 RPM.
Oh, I'm 5,000. 5,000 RPM at 10 inches a minute.
Okay.
1/16 ball. Under my cut parameters, so my compensation type, this is how you get it to actually engrave, because on a contour program it normally wants to be on one side of the line or other. If you go to the compensation type and you turn it off, it'll put the center of that ball directly on top of the engraving. Lead-in, lead-outs, I don't want extra lead-in, lead-outs on my lines, because that's going to make my part look silly as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just change it, shut that off as well. And then linking parameters, if the top of the stop is 750, I'm going to go 6 thousandths deep. So 750 minus 6, 744 deep. Make sure my coolant's turned on. Yep. Now you'll see that cutter cut exactly 6 thousandths below my drawings.
It's pretty cool.
And that's how we engrave. So if I turn on all of Op2, turn my part back on. That's just the very basics of how I would program this Op2 and finish these parts up. Roughing out the slots, taking a finish pass on the slots, and then engraving out the pictures.
Yeah. How did you import the pictures?
Okay, so importing pictures. Let me show you. So I'm just going to create. I always like to start by creating a new level. So new level, we'll call it Cubone. So I know what a Cubone is. I'm going to shut off all my other levels. Okay, so then I'm going to go to the Google. Okay, and I'm going to type in Cubone. I find if you add drawing that it really helps. Cubone drawing. You want these kind of black and white drawings. They work the best. If you go to images, you should see a bunch of them. So I'll use this one here. And I'm going to right click on it and save image as. And then your dialog box should pop up. I'm just going to throw it on my desktop and call him Cubone. And you can clean up your files and stuff later. Now, if I go back into Mastercam, under wireframe, this little box here, raster to vector, says, do you want to merge the geometry? Yes. Now, if I go to my desktop, I should see that picture of Cubone. There he is. Now, my threshold, I can make it darker or lighter, so that on the left is the picture that you're going from, and on the right is what it's going to try to create. So I'll make it a little darker, press OK. Now, it's going to make the size of this picture 1 inch by 1 inch, or 1 inch 120 thousandths by 1 inch 120 thousandths. If you turn the resolution down, the picture gets a little bigger and gives you a little more detail. If you get too small, it'll become pixelated. So I'll make it 120. You green check that, and it's going to go ahead and create the picture. And sometimes it takes a little while. So all these little blue lines are what it's creating. And I can say, yeah, that looks good. Or if I don't like the look of it, I can X that out and then go back in and change my resolution. And do it again. You kind of keep going back and forth till you get the picture looking like you want it. Once it's good, you push green check. Would you like to exit? Yes. And then there's my Cubone. Now from here, I can do a few different things. I can transform, scale if I want to make him bigger or smaller. And selection, change it from copy to move. And let's say I'll make him twice as big. And then if I want to reposition him, I'm going to go transform dynamic and selection. I can place my my origin anywhere I want to, but I'll just put it right here in the middle. Grab the gray ball and I can move him anywhere I want. Or you can rotate him upside down or whatever you want to do with him. Then green check. Then when you're all set and ready to go, you just turn your levels back on. And you can see where he kind of sets according to the drawing. Now say, hey, this isn't going to work. I need to move him. Well, turn your level off. Then it makes it easier to scale him. And you can do your dynamic, select him, and selection. Grab him, but before you start moving him, go to your levels and turn it back on. Now, I can both move him and see my levels on. I'll just put him right up here. Rotate him back right side up. And now when I go to my tool pass, first I'll go to levels and turn everything back on. So what did we have? Mewtwo, Pikachu, the Gyarados. So now when I go to my tool pass to add him into there, I can go to that same contour program and under geometries, I can just right click and add chain. Select him to get my start point, green check, calculate dirty. And now he'll be a part of the toolpath. And you notice it didn't matter that he was on the bottom of the part, because in my linking parameters I'm telling it to go 6,000 steep from the 3/4. So that's how you import them and add them if you guys want to change your drawings up. But we good? I'm going to stop the recording. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just going to ask, how do you make it show up when you have your extrude on? Do you have to transform them to the top?
Yeah, you'd have to actually transform them to the top. Unless, I just put it in wireframe here. If I put it back in solid, you see he...
Well, I want to see what it looks like in extrude.
Yeah, you'd have to transform them to the top.
Okay.